All right, welcome back. So a little tired, but I wanted to kind of get this wrapped up on the Diamondback. So I did get the maiden done on the Bandit Models Diamondback, which is right there. I got several flights on it, so I had a chance to get it all trimmed out and get some time on it to kind of give what I think about the model. So there we go. So the maiden was kind of uneventful. Had to trim a little bit more than I was expecting, but that was just mainly because of the flaps. Flaps are being so big, it wants to climb, so you have to do quite a bit of trimming between the takeoff profile, gear up with flaps down, and then you go through your flap positions, and then of course no flaps, all clean. And that went fairly easy. I did have a little incident on the first flight. Had nothing to do with the model. I was getting ready to set up for landing. I put the landing flaps down and the gear was down, and I was kind of trimming for that, and it started to roll to the right, and it was controllable, but there was obviously something going on. So it kind of became more of an emergency thing, and I was coming by to I couldn't land. I was a little hot, I think, if I remember right, and so I did a kind of a go around. But as I came by, I saw one of the flaps just kind of doing that, and I'm like, oh crap, I've lost a flap. So I put the flaps up, and it became completely controllable, and made it easy to come back around. The only problem with that is this jet does not slow down. Like most sport jets or any jet, you need flaps. So it took me a couple tries kind of figuring it out, because like I said, I'd never landed it before. And so I ended up on like the third try, I got it down. It was just, you had to come in hot. I don't know why, but it was a brand new 500 plus ounce servo. It just went dead. Like, it didn't lock up, thank God, because it was kind of feathering. It just went dead. And I checked it, and it was the servo. The other servo was fine. So what I did was just, somebody had some torque servos, some 500 ounce torque servos, because I could only, I didn't want to just swap one and have a mismatch. So I bought two of those, slung them in, and then the next flight, no issues, finished trimming with that, got some flight time on it. I did get a video of me flying it. I did not see any bad characteristics on the jet. Knife edge, it doesn't tuck, so that's cool. You don't have to do any trimming or any correction on the knife edge maneuvers. CG was great for me, even with my batteries in the nose. It was still fine. Most of you, or some of you, may want to tweak that a little bit, because when I rolled it inverted, it needed a little up, which is normal, but it was a little bit more after a couple flights than I think it needs. So I'll probably move the servos back, or not the servos, but I'm not going to take the batteries out of the nose. I'm just going to move the turbine and gear pack back just a hair, and that'll be fine. Like I said, it's fine like it is. I just, when you're turning inverted, to come around and do like an inverted pass, you have to push a little more than I would like, but it's not much. I mean, it's just a hair when you're level flight, so it's kind of okay. I kind of got used to the Minion jet that doesn't really need anything. It almost didn't take any up. But other than that, I tried to slow it down to stall it. Could not get it to stall. There was two other ones there, and they said you just can't stall it. I'm like, okay, here, hold my beer. It would not stall, and I wasn't comfortable getting as slow as they did. So I was nowhere near stalling it, but it has an amazing range. So probably the slowest I've ever seen a sport jet go, because of the big wings. They got a lot of wing area, and I think that's part of it. and it goes really fast. Like there was one there that had a 160 in it and a 170. I had a 195. I haven't seen it with a 200, but with my 195, with theirs, it is plenty fast, and it all seems to be about the same speed, top end, because I think it's just one of those jets that you can only get so much flow through it, so it's only going to go so fast. I will say the 160 seemed a little faster than ours, like the 170 and the 195, which is mine, but he didn't have the wing tanks on it. The 170 guy that I saw with his, and then of course mine, we both had the wing tanks on it, and it all seemed very close and almost identical. And they would turn and burn a lot. I was kind of doing a little of everything just to kind of get comfortable with it, see what it would do, and it flies great. It's amazing. I mean, I didn't see any tip. So I don't know what it's going to do if it stalls. I don't know if it's going to tip off or anything, or if it's going to go flat. I would dare to say that if it stalls, it might tip a little bit, dip a wing. But I mean, you got to be almost standing still. Like, I mean, I wish you guys could see it. It really is the slowest I've seen a jet get. I mean, I'm not kidding. And I ended up putting a little bit more flaps based on the recommendation of the guys. I had pretty much what they did, but I went like 10 or 15 more millimeters just to kind of get it to slow down, to try to stall it, and it just wouldn't do it. So that's great. So if you're on a grass runway and you need to really slow this thing down, or you got a short runway, I would fly this on a 400 foot or less runway, no problem, because it does slow down so nice. And it does kind of land, and that's probably because I might be a little nose heavy, but it seems to land flatter than I've seen some sport jets. But I did see the other guys, you know, they would come in and they would do a higher angle of attack on landing, and I think that's because they had their batters back further. And that's just personal preference. I don't like flaring a lot because that's, you know, the more you flare, the closer you get to an AOA issue, you know, and you kind of exceed that critical angle, which is when you stall. So a flatter is, you know, is fine with me as long as you can slow it down, and this thing will slow down. So that's a personal preference. Like I said, knife edges were great. The only thing I got to check, because we had so much wind there. I mean, we had a lot of wind. So, crosswinds, no issues on crosswinds. You don't have to. It handles crosswinds just fine because the rotor has a lot of authority. So no issue on crosswinds. But we did have a lot of crosswinds, so I couldn't tell if the loops, when I would do a loop, it would kind of split out a little bit. I couldn't tell if that was maybe just the rotor's not trimmed properly, because I couldn't get it trimmed before I turned the gyro on because there was so much wind. I mean, it was really windy every day there. But they didn't have any issues with theirs tracking, so I'm guessing it's just mine wasn't trimmed properly because of, like I said, I didn't get to trim it with no wind. Gyro helped, obviously, but it didn't need it. So if you're not a gyro person, there you go. But if you like gyros, I mean, the only time they really work is when there is wind, which is what we had at the vent this year. So it did help. Let's see. Plenty of fuel. Oh my God. I'm up to 8 minutes on my timer, and I'm still around half tank on this thing. So it's got a massive amount of fuel tank to the point where I stopped using a taxi tank. So it's 5 liters in the thing. That's plenty. I mean, it'd probably, obviously, if you have a bigger than a 200 or more, or a less efficient motor, that could be an issue, but it was plenty for me. Like that, I could easily fly 10 plus minutes on this jet, but I don't fly that long. I'm like, 7 to 8 minutes is kind of like my sweet spot. Roll's true. You don't get any of the wobble, so that's one I kind of think. I think my rolls were, like I said, they were on a rail. I didn't corkscrew or anything, so that's why I think the S-ing on the loop might be maybe a split of the elevators a little bit. So I'm going to check the elevators and make sure they're staying matched through their throw, because that might just be one of those things that when you go into it, like one's like kind of off as you pull up, and it makes it do that. Or it could be the rudder, but it didn't corkscrew. It's rolled along its center axis, which was nice. yeah, I tried inside pulls, outside pulls, nothing crazy, no departing, anything like that. So I am extremely happy with the model, and it's going to be a keeper because it does have such a nice range. So if you want to slow it down and do the crazy high alpha stuff, it'll do it. And if you want to go super fast, it'll do it. Plus, it's gorgeous. Everybody says it just looks muscly, you know, because it's got some thickness to the fuselage. And the tanks, I think, look awesome, and I got a lot of comments on it, so I definitely think it's a winner. I mean, I'm not a sport jet guy, so I typically will get bored with a sport jet pretty quick and sell them, but I will keep this one because, like I said, I can fly this one anywhere, and it looks great, and it flies good. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up, and Javier did a great job on this one. I haven't flown his other one, I think it's called the I don't know what it's called, I'm sorry. I don't even want to misspeak on that. But it's a bigger one, but kind of similar design. I think it had wing tanks too. But anyways, this one, the smaller one is fantastic. No issues at all. Once I put those new flap servos, you know, I was worried it might be a mechanical advantage problem because you can't get much. You're limited on how much mechanical advantage you can kind of give it based on the way it's designed. So I think because the improvements that he's done over the first two, because I saw theirs and they were telling me that the things that they told them was incorporated into mine. You know, so there's been some improvements, and it will continue. And based on things I have given him, I think he'll improve as well. I like the upgraded tank. It looks good, and it fits in there just fine. And like I said, if you want to run smoke on it, you got that 1 liter on top that you can run a smoke. And it might be something I do on this one. I'm either going to put smoke on the big Minion jet or this one, just because the Minion jet, it's so big and it flies kind of like a docile giant. It's almost boring. Like my 2.5 meter one of the Viper jet seemed to be more exciting. So I don't know, but at least you can if you want with the tank like they set it up. So, but yeah, throws were spot on. The only thing I noticed was the roll. But when I checked it, it was kind of a slower airspeed. I wasn't going full speed when I was rolling. So that will speed up a little bit on the top end. But you may want to give it a little bit more throw if you like a faster roll. I didn't have any issues with what I had, and I went with kind of as close to the manual as possible. Yeah, like I said, very uneventful. And I did get a video of the flight. It's just me with it on my head, so you're not going to see, it's not going to be zoomed in. But hopefully you guys can kind of see some stuff with it. But anyways, that's the build, wrapping up the Bandit Models Diamondback. So I hope you enjoyed the build. If you got any questions on the jet, let me know. I'll answer them. And I think it's a reasonable price. It's definitely on the cheaper side for its size, which is a bonus, and it is very well made. It will be lighter, I think. They're talking about doing some different layups to kind of get it to lose some weight on it, but you can't tell that it's a heavier, beefy sport jet. You can't really tell. It doesn't fly. It flies very light, so. I would highly recommend it if you're looking for a good sport jet. So, and I'm not saying that just because I know the guy, and I didn't get anything. I bought this jet, so I didn't get anything to do this. It's just what I like to do. I like to build and promote, and I think it's a good product. And I hope he keeps on keeping on and does great things. I know he's got some things in the pipe down the road that he wants to do. Hopefully he can kind of get into scale eventually, because we've kind of talked about some scale stuff. But don't hesitate to get one. It's Bandit Models Diamondback. And like I said, I have a 195 in mine, And I've seen it, like I said, across the spectrum. The only one I hadn't really seen is the 200 size, but I can't imagine it being much faster than that. But who knows? So, yeah, if you've got any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Check out Bandit Models. They have a Facebook page you can go to and join and kind of see what's going on. But again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up. I'll answer the best I can. So you guys take it easy. Enjoy the flight video. Like I said, it's not a zoom in kind of thing. It was just this GoPro stuck to my head as I was flying. So you guys have a good one. And I would say keep it greasy side down, but that's not what you do with jets. So cheers.